welcome you to another edition of The Beat. I'm Will Johnson from 12th Man Studios. We begin with Texas A&M women's basketball because they started another run in the NCAA tournament on Saturday night in Los Angeles. They took on the Penn Quakers out of the Ivy League. And as this game rolled toward the midway point of the fourth quarter, A&M was down big. To put it bluntly, it looked bleak. The Aggies, it seemed like elimination was a formality. Only someone forgot to inform A&M.
A&M doing what they can to up the tempo here. It may be too little too late.
Just over 8 minutes to play. Mathematically it's possible, but the momentum of this game has just been so far in Penn's favor. Knox looking inside, Hillsman and one. "90 seconds left in regulation. Knox knocks it down.
Big time shot.
Aggies down by 4, 41.4 seconds left. Williams, a deep three, good! Danny Williams makes it a 1-point game. Again, Penn hasn't scored in almost 8.5 minutes. Leading by 1. Zowski lets it go. It's going to be A&M basketball. Williams, who just made the 3. Nice pass. Hillsman gives A&M their first lead since 6-4. Texas A&M is on the verge of NCAA tournament history. No team has ever come from 21 points down and won the game.
I can't speak enough about my teammates. You know, we really put it all on the line, and the coaches said, "Don't worry about the score." You know, I think they were nervous, and we just kept pushing. You know, it was never in our eyes that that the game was over. We just kept pushing, and it was amazing.
I'm just so happy for our kids, and particularly the ones that struggled. They found a way to stay in the ball game by doing other things. When you do not have your best game, games can still be won with heart and passion, and that's what an Aggie's all about. Don't ever count us out.
An amazing comeback against Penn on Saturday night. The run did end on Monday. Texas A&M fell to the host UCLA. They end the year with 22 victories. It was their 12th consecutive season in the NCAAs. We continue when we come back on The Beat.
The Beat, brought to you by ASCO, your place for case construction equipment in Texas.
We welcome you back to The Beat. Last week, Texas A&M women's swimming and diving competed in the NCAA championships in Indianapolis, and they came home with a third-place finish, the best in program history. And you have to think about it this way. For 4 straight years, they finished 4th. This time 3rd, so essentially it's 5 years in a row, a top 5 finish for Steve Boltman and his program. We have the head coach with us now, and I always like it when you come on because last time you brought the SEC championship trophy, and now you have more props. There's your 3rd-place finish trophy right there, but congratulations to you.
Thanks. Definitely pretty special. You know, it's always nice to bring hardware back from the NCAAs, and with the top, Final 4, the top 4 teams get that, but to finally, break the glass ceiling a little bit and pick up a 3rd place, that was great.
Yeah, essentially, like I said, top 5 finish 4 years in a row. Really, it's top 4 finish 4 years in a row, because 5 years in a row, because you get that trophy when you finish in the top 4. But like we say, program best, 3rd place. And we always have to ask, what were the keys to it? You mentioned breaking a barrier there. What allowed you to push past 4th and get this program high finish?
You know, it's a long meet. There's 7 sessions, and just keep battling. The first session is just a relay, 800 free relay, and we didn't go quite as fast as we wanted. We ended up 9th, so we were hoping for a little better, but the next morning we bounced back and got some people qualified, and that was big. And then the third day, we had a really good day. And, you know, the first day we were 9th. After the second day, we were 5th. That third day, we jumped into third, and that's the best we've ever been going into the final day. And we usually perform really well that last day. And that Saturday morning, girls stepped up and did what they needed to do to allow us to feel pretty confident that we were going to stay third.
Yeah, that's the key. When you wake up on that last day, do you kind of feel it in the air, a chance to do something really special here?
And that's something that we talk about to the girls. I mean, it's important. That last day, everybody's tired. Everybody is fighting for the same thing. And, you know, if you can step up and come through in the clutch that morning, you know, it's pretty much done. And it was pretty much done after that. So that's a good feeling.
When you hear that program best finish, third in the nation, do you look back of all the years prior to these top 4 finishes and think about what got you here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, 30th, and then I think there was 1 or 2 years we didn't even score. And then gradually we got into the top 10 finally 11 years ago. And, you know, there's a lot of girls that have put in a lot of work to help take the program to the next level. And I wouldn't say they made it easier for the present girls, but they made them believe that they could. And, you know, so it was really neat to see, you know. Broke 4 school records. You know, Sydney Pickram had a great meet, 3 top 8 finishes, 2 school records. You know, Bethany Gallant was right behind her, would have broken 2 school records, but Sydney was faster. You know, Sarah Gibson had 2 top 8s and was important on relays. You know, Beryl Gastadeo was, you know, had a top 8 in the console and was really important on relays. You know, just, you know, our medley relays both got second. That was big. I think we've been second 4 times on relays. That's our highest finish. We've won some individual events. I think we'll, you know, have a chance to win some more soon. And, you know, it was just a team effort. You know, you know, the team was really supportive of, you know, the swimmers that were up competing at the time, and that helped a lot.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on bringing home more hardware.
Thank you. Steve
Boltman and the Aggie women's swimming and diving program, a best third-place finish at the most recent NCAA. We return to 12th Man Studios. Texas A&M men's tennis has won 11 matches in a row. The last of those victories came on Sunday in College Station. The Aggies beat number 2, Ohio State. Part of the reason for this successful run is A&M's French connection.
So my name is Arthur Rindeknecht. I'm from Paris, France, and so I'm the cousin of Val.
And me, I'm Valentin. I'm from France too. I'm from Nice, it's in the south, and I'm Arthur's cousin.
For Arthur and Val, having parents with professional tennis careers ignited their passion for the sport at an early age.
Me, I started at 4 years old at the beginning. My mother is a tennis coach, so that's helped me for the beginning. My brother was a professional tennis player, now he's coach. And yeah, so with this way, I begin really young, and that's why easier way for me to begin.
Yeah, like Val said, I started at probably 5 years old with my mother. My mother was an ex-professional tennis player on the tour. She was like top 200 ATP, WTA. And so yeah, she brought me on the court with my father. We're playing tennis too. My father was still coaching as well. And so yeah, obviously like I'm a little bit older than Val. I started probably earlier than him, but we just started basically at the same age. But then we just kept playing, growing up, and yeah, now we're here.
There's a lot of pedigree of tennis in their families, on both sides of the family. A lot of tennis players, and as a result of that, they've been schooled and trained very well from a young age, and obviously A&M is reaping the benefit of both these really good players.
When the time came to make a decision on how to further their careers, the 2 cousins felt Texas A&M was the best fit, academically and athletically.
And so yeah, I had some offers from different schools in the country, and I was kind of hesitating between some of them, obviously, because there's a lot of great schools here. And what made the difference for me was that Steve came in France, like he said earlier. He came in France to meet my family, basically me and all my family. And it made big difference, because my mother knew about Steve Denton, about who he was before, that he was a really high tennis player in the past, and so she said, yeah, she told me, like, yeah, you can't really refuse an offer like this.
I was hesitating between play professional circuit right away after grading in high school, or come here, play the college career during a couple of years. But yeah, as Arthur said, he was the first to be recruiting here, and that's helped me on my decision, that I knew that he was here. Steve is a really good coach, and so yeah, I think it has been more easier for me to make my decision to come here than Arthur. And yeah, so that's why I'm here today.
Getting acclimated to the American culture has been a family matter and no problem for the pair.
Coming from France, it's like a whole new world here. It's new country, new culture, new language. So like you can hear, we have the French accent. So it's really big difference for us. So I would say I had probably a bigger deal with acclimatation than Val, since I was by myself here, no French guy in the team. So, but yeah, everything is done here to be like perfect for us. A lot of help around school-wise with tutoring or like any different kind of help. Same with tennis, we have 3 amazing coaches that always helping us and trying the best for us. So yeah, we have a lot of help, and obviously the acclimatation has been really easy for us.
I know both of them love to compete. They're big-time players where they play their best when things matter the most, which is what you want. You want guys to reach greater heights and when they're challenged. And I think both of them have that characteristic, and that's why already this team is really beginning to gel, because both of those guys, along with some of the other guys, are really beginning to hit their stride and play at a pretty high level.
The Aggies try to extend their streak on Thursday night when they play host to the Tennessee Volunteers at the Mitchell Center. We're back after this.
The Beat, brought to you by Memorial Hermann, official sports medicine partner of Texas A&M Athletics.
We welcome you back to The Beat. Texas A&M softball is now 25-2 on the year after a successful spring break trip. They were stationed in Memphis, Tennessee. Over the weekend, they swept Ole Miss in conference play. And we are joined right now by Kristen Koyos and Samantha Schau, both with the Aggies ready to play Missouri this weekend in SEC play in College Station. But guys, let's talk about the spring break first. I want to go back to the Saturday game against Ole Miss, because that really involves both of you. Kristen, you hit the grand slam in that game, and this ended up being a walk-off shutout. Grand slams are rare. I don't care how long you play softball.
Yes,
do they still have that electric feeling to them?
I think every home run you hit is electric. I mean, just especially in that, putting your team up 4 points in the first inning, it kind of just shuts the team down, and it gives us confidence to keep doing what we're doing.
Samantha, for you, that game ended up as a 2-hit shutout in the circle. What were your keys to being so successful on Saturday?
The week before pitching practice, Coach Joe really worked with my mechanics, trying to get me back to where I was a couple weeks earlier, like I was in California. You know, getting my spin right on my curveball, getting my rise spin back, and I really trusted in my defense that they were going to make the play that they were going to make.
I thought the trip was pretty interesting, too. Like we said, you guys were in Memphis pretty much the entire time. For the Ole Miss series, you just bust down each day. There was even a midweek game against the Memphis Tigers. So you guys really spent your entire spring break in the Delta Blues city. But the Memphis game, it actually snowed while you played. I'm guessing neither of you have been through that.
Definitely not. Especially coming from Texas, you don't see snow much.
No.
Well, how'd you handle that? How did it feel to go through that in the game? You obviously won it pretty easily against Memphis, but just playing in snow, a little bit of a different feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I had to take some mental pictures in my head, just being in the circle and like seeing the snow flurries come down. played in the rain, I've played in the heat, I've played in the cold, never played in the snow, so it was pretty cool.
And there's so much you can do away from the field. You had 4 games, but when you're there for a week, there's time off. And spring break is something every college student should get. Athletes don't get as much of it, but away from softball in Memphis, what were some of the highlights for you guys?
I think for me, I loved Graceland. Elvis, the music, I love country music, and just Memphis in general is a country town, so I think it very hit home with me, so I loved it.
What about for you, Samantha?
I really enjoyed the Civil Rights Museum. Just kind of seeing the history of it all, being at the hotel that Martin Luther King Jr. was shot at, and just getting to, it really hit home and it hit a chord in me, how much history and how much background is in that city.
How much barbecue was involved?
Every day.
It was good.
You're going to take a break from it for a while?
Most definitely.
Gotcha. Like we said, this weekend, it's SEC play still. What do you look forward to in the Missouri series?
I think just carrying our momentum with us. I think Ole Miss set the table pretty high, and just knowing that we're going to be back home together as a team and ready just to dominate.
Is that what's key, Samantha? Like Kristen mentioned, carrying momentum. People talk about handling adversity. Well, right now, you guys have to handle success. Like I mentioned, you're 25-2.
Yeah, and with this Missouri series, you know, we have a kind of sour taste in our mouth, so we have a little revenge to take care of. We have that fire under us to go out and just dominate Missouri.
All right, well, we thank you for the time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Kristen Coyos, Samantha Schau of Texas A&M softball, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mizzou is in town. Almost time to say goodbye, but some good news before we go. Robert Williams, a Texas A&M hoops freshman from Oil City, Louisiana, was sensational in his first collegiate campaign. He was named the SEC's Defensive Player of the Year at the close of it. He announced on Tuesday that he would return to Texas A&M for his sophomore year. Many thought he had the chance to be a lottery pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Williams blocked at least a shot in all 31 Aggie games in 2016 and 17. That means upon his return, he will carry the nation's longest streak for swats in a contest into 17 and 18. Robert Williams returning to Texas A&M for his sophomore year. And we'll be back with you next week on The Beat. So long, everybody.